Hello, Jay Leshark here from the Jay Leshark and Friends and Russell podcast. You kind of know that because you're about to listen to episode 66 with Amy Razorblade Sharp. It's a good one, this, trust me. Anyway, if you're listening on Apple or any other podcast provider, please could you give us a little 5-star rating? We'd love you forever. You can write a little comment and we'll write back and everything if you want to, but a little 5-star rating will be lovely. We'll love you forever and a day. Okay, here's the intro. This is a Jay Leshark and Friends
and Russell
and Russell podcast. And on today's show, we're talking to Amy Razorblade Sharp from Sutai Muay Thai Gym. Spoiler alert, Amy is a world champion Muay Thai fighter. And that's not all we learn about the awesome Amy. Originally from the UK, Amy's journey to Phuket started with a backpack with wheels. And it just gets better and better. These stories are why we love doing these podcasts. Amy is super talented, super lovely, and can kick all our asses. I like Amy. She's cool. Enjoy the show. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey Jay.
Hi Russell.
It's good to see you, buddy.
Hi Amy.
Hi.
That's a little sweet voice. Amy Sharp.
Over to you.
Oh,
Discuss.
can I ask you questions?
If you want to.
Well, no one's ever done that before. That's quite unnerving. You've got a Santa cup. I've just noticed that.
I have got a 7-Eleven Santa cup because they're obviously...
Do you want to break the news to them or shall I?
Christmas is over.
Yeah.
What a Christmas. Anyway, we're here for Amy, not
We are
for
indeed.
Santa
Welcome
Cup.
to the
No,
pod,
let's
Amy.
talk about that Santa cup.
Amy
Let's
Sharp,
go.
now I'm going to get this right, from Sutai.
Sutai Muay Thai. Yes.
Sutai Muay Thai.
Yes.
What does Sutai, where does Sutai come from?
Sutai is like what they actually would say in Thai, maybe in the armies, from what I believe, where it's like they say Sutai, like don't, they would rather die than give up. So the idea is never give up, but we just try and forget the bit about dying. We don't want anyone
Because
to
it's nice,
die.
it just rhymes with Muay Thai.
Can we just clarify, no one's died here?
No one's died here
Good.
now.
Yes.
And we don't want anyone to die.
Yeah.
We just
Ideally.
don't. We just want them to fight well, or
bounce.
also achieve their goals. So whether it's not fighting, whether it's just getting better at something, or you know, getting stronger, lose weight, whatever their goals might be.
This is the sales pitch she's put
I
together.
know.
Well, to be
Putting
honest,
it
I was going to ask.
So training today at 4 p.m.
Comes out on Tuesday, so what happens on the Tuesday?
Yep, 4 p.m.
4 p.m, training today, get there now.
What are your sort of core programs that you run here?
So
Because
right
it's not just boxing, is it?
No, so we've got Muay Thai and we have Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at the moment. We have had yoga and like fitness sort of strength training here before. Right now we just, with obviously the lack of tourists, we just narrowed it down to the but we are actually looking into maybe bringing some of that back with some interests from people. So
Cool.
we'll see.
I think we'll get to Sutai in a bit. How long have you been on Phuket for?
I have been here, it would have been 13 years on Boxing Day.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I arrived in Thailand on Boxing Day.
I was...
Oh, go on.
No, it's just that I was trying to, on the drive down, I was trying to remember when we first met, because I knew you'd been here for...
a long time.
Yeah, because I've been here 15.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
bragger.
yeah. 15 years, the longest.
It shows you've been here
It
longer
does,
than me.
doesn't it? Yeah.
I think it's shown, yeah.
Yeah, you reach that point when it's like, oh, for fuck's sake. But no, Phuket Town Days must have been. Like,
Yeah. And also, I think I used to train with Big Dan and
Of
Tash
course.
and everyone
Yeah,
at
yeah,
Chantilly Muay Thai, so I think that's probably
would
the
have been it.
connection, how
Gotcha,
I
okay,
got to
cool.
know you. Yeah.
Oh,
so.
Big Dan.
Yeah.
I know, I miss him. Shout
you?
out to Big Dan.
No. Don't
Nah,
shout him out.
fuck him.
We like Dan. What was the reason you came to Thailand or Phuket? Was it Phuket you came to first?
Phuket. So I actually, my mum, I said I was going traveling and I was going to come to Thailand first. And she bought me a very expensive like backpack, you know, can fit everything in, has wheels, have everything. And
Has wheels?
yeah,
So you can
because
rely on it.
it could be too heavy. I almost broke my arm trying to get that thing
I'm
off.
not being horrible. That's the worst type of backpacking when he's on wheels. 'cause
I
that
know, well,
technically is not backpacking.
Well, I didn't get very far because I landed in Phuket and I haven't been anywhere else.
Have you still got this bag?
No, I took it back to England the first time I went back and then swapped it for a suitcase. I
back
needed
here
more
again.
stuff to bring.
So where were you? You was in the UK at the time.
Yes, yeah. I'd been working in different companies, like I was working overseas, but then I was working for Mark Warner Holidays.
Well, this is where we've talked about this before, because I was a Suncell guy. Mark Warner, I'm talking to Russell now, and the listener, obviously. Mark Warner and Suncell are very similar companies. So Suncell was more sailing, Mark Warner was more tennis, but they had kids clubs.
So, whoa. When you say that Mark Warner and Sunset are kind of the same thing, one's doing sailing, one's doing tennis.
Yeah.
No,
Am I the only one that's confused by that?
Not at all. Activity holidays. Okay, so it's an activity holiday company where you would go as a family to a place, either Turkey, Greece, Antigua, wherever, as a family, and you go, and then mum and dad can go and do their activities, and then there's kids clubs for the kids to go and do their activities.
Like a Club Med sort of thing.
Exactly like a Club Med, which is very similar to Suncell and Mark Warner, whereas Mark Warner was more of a tennis brand, so you'd go there because the tennis was better.
I disagree with that.
Amy's we're going to fight in a minute, but she'll probably kick my ass because I've just seen a poster of her with a big freaking WWF medal on.
WWF.
Anyway, and then Suncell's more sailing. Anyway, you worked for Mark Warner.
Yes, it was really
Nanny.
Great sailing, Mark
Yeah.
Warner.
Average sailing.
And
Mark
shit
Warner.
tennis.
Yeah, a little bit of tennis. Anyway.
Okay.
Wonderful childcare.
You went out as a nanny, I'm assuming.
Yes. So, and the first resort I went to had 50 nannies, so it's like huge for their childcare.
I was going to say, if
thing,
there's 50 nannies, I dread to think how many fucking kids.
Yeah.
Well, after the season, there was a lot more kids. That's for sure.
Yeah, there's quite a lot.
Honestly,
still.
it was a shagathon.
Made at
it was
Mark
shagathon.
Warner.
Yeah, made at Suncell. There is a group, I think, saying made at Suncell, and I got so many friends who, have got kids through punch party nights and various other debacles that
But
happen.
there's still some happy stories of marriage, and so there is
Isn't that an
Mark Warner
oxymoron?
anyway.
Happy story, marriage.
Marriages are great, Russell. On that
As
note,
are divorces.
they're not so great. How long did you do for Mark Warner?
I was 4 seasons. So the seasons varied. I tried once winter ski.
Yeah, what was that like?
That was terrible.
I didn't like the ski
Don't
seasons.
go to the ski. Well, being a nanny, in all fairness, you just don't get much time off. So you don't get time to learn to ski. You get 1 day a week to learn. And who can learn skiing one time a week?
And the problem is, the
You
night before...
You go out the night before. You don't want to look after children with a hangover, so you'd only go out the night before. And then trying to learn to ski with a hangover just doesn't work either. So.
I was all right with this because I chalet maid, so I was okay. So once you clean the toilets...
Whoa. You chalet maid.
Yeah, I ran the chalet. So there was 2 of us, and I would cook and clean the chalet and then go skiing all day.
So I'm just like everyone else. Can we just stop and pause just for a moment?
What?
With the image of Jay the Shark
Yep.
in a chalet maid outfit. Just just let that sink in to the listener.
Like a French maid outfit. That's what I'm thinking of, with
And
the lace
go.
and black. I'm turned on myself. In fact, thank you very much, Jamie. It's a great podcast. Where are your toilets?
You're welcome to come and maid here if any time. Oh God, no!
No.
That's
We're
probably
not
not
in the thing.
No,
Oh my
You know
God,
when
I
we-
sound like a pervert now.
Yeah. You know, we said we might edit some things.
Yeah. Can we edit that out, please?
Which resorts were you in at Mark Warner?
I was in San Agostino in Greece. I was in. Then I did the French Alps at Val d'Isère, and then I did Corsica.
Yep.
And then I was finished in Egypt.
Wow, what was Egypt like?
Egypt was amazing. Yeah, I really liked Egypt. I was actually childcare manager by there. I'd sort of worked my way up over the seasons, and so that was a completely different role. It was interesting. I was very excited about my desk and my swirly chair, but that got very boring after about an hour, and I just spent all my time with the kids, hanging out with all the kids. So yeah, I spent most of my time covering my staff because they all got sick from all the food and the
Sick
things.
or hungover?
Yeah, both of those probably. So I spent a lot of time covering.
Did you enjoy the seasons?
Oh yeah, I would recommend it, especially like if people want to move or didn't do university or want to move and like do something, but they're a bit nervous to go backpacking or something. This is a really good sort of starter of it all, like a taster.
It's more of a safety
of it.
net.
Yeah, because they give you a flight, they
Yeah.
meet you at the airport, they show you your accommodation. You know, obviously, with a whole team of people, you're guaranteed to have friends. And
Yeah.
it was like a really good start.
When Amy said friends, she meant sex.
Yes. And how old were you?
I was actually a bit of a,
Yeah, well, yeah.
workaholic. I was always getting star of the
Yeah, I'll bet you
star
were,
of the
darling.
week. I was.
We had a rating system as well. In fact,
Just the one star.
I just realised if we really got into it, and it's probably not the right podcast, but one day I should tell you some of the real stories that happened on season, because they are some funky
gosh.
stories.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
But some great times.
Yeah.
I loved it. I did 15 years of seasons.
Wow.
I
Wow,
absolutely adored every minute of it, and I
Yeah.
felt that was. I'd done that. I'd finished my life after I'd done 15 years, because that's what I wanted to be.
Yeah,
was just
yeah.
do teaching seasons and done it. It was
Yeah.
fabulous.
It
And the
is
same as you, when I
amazing,
got to
yeah.
management, it was like,
Bored of this.
Yeah, it's not quite as fun as
Yeah.
But also, I loved the once a week the staff would put on shows for the guests, and that was my like highlight. Was just bossing everyone around and being like, "We're gonna do this performance," and I was always Donkey from Shrek, but I was very good at it.
okay,
So, yes. Yeah.
sure, okay. So after the seasons, back to the UK. Where were you from in the UK?
Originally from Yorkshire, near Leeds,
Okay.
but then when I was 13, I moved down to the Cotswolds, near
nice.
Gloucestershire. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's nice.
I went to university in Gloucester.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
Oh, so close.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
should. Do you know Bill? He used to work. So when did you? So you finished seasons, and then you was bumming around, kind of in UK, just working in various different jobs. I say bumming around. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was obviously training, like childcare.
Is that what your
my
your goal was, or your kind of your
Do
career
you know
path?
what? I always just landed in it since I was young. So when I was even in high school, after high school, I went to work in the local nursery until 6 p.m. giving like for the children that had to wait for the parents to finish work. And then I'd work in my school holidays there, and then I'd babysit. Like that's all I ever did. And then my nursery, I was gonna study and do my sort of qualifications that closed down, and then I got offered with a family to nanny. So I did a lot of nannying for certain families.
And how old were
in
you at
the
this sort of
UK.
stage?
I was probably like 16,
Right, okay, yeah.
17, and then and I went to college and was studying, and I was doing stuff through while I was nannying.
All around childcare.
And yes,
Yeah.
all around child, and nannied for some amazing families. And then I started working for Mark Warner, and I did some of my placements in primary schools and things like that as well. And then I came here.
So what was the reason to? What was it like? I'm done with the UK. I want to travel.
Well, I was kind of thinking, okay, I think I'm done with seasons. My boyfriend at the time in England he was really into Kung Fu, and he wanted to come here to train and fight Muay Thai. So he was the one who was talking about it, and I remember him showing me like a clip of it one day, and I was like, oh, that looks very dangerous. I'm not sure about this. And then we came here, and then I actually did a TEFL course in Kamala, just because I was thinking, oh, maybe I might, if I'm traveling around the world, it would come in useful to teach English.
Is this where I insert my non-slip joke?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
And then I have no idea what that means. But
Yeah.
okay.
Thankfully, I do.
Okay. And then, so I did my thing there. He came here. He started training in Sutai Muay Thai, which was a small Thai
Okay. So
gym.
slow down. So the reason you came here
Was a bloke.
because it was a dude,
Yeah.
a kung fu dude that
A
wanted
Kung Fu, yeah.
Kung
Kung
Fu
Fu
dude,
Panda wanted
Kung Fu
to come
Panda wanted to
here.
come here,
And
and you followed him.
yeah, well, yeah. Well, he technically followed me because I came here first, but yes, because I
Okay.
did my TEFL. I came here with my mum, and we had a little holiday. She dropped me off in Kamala, and then
Flew back to the UK.
Yeah.
I'll be back in 5 minutes, love. See you.
She was like, I don't know what she's
She's
doing,
gone.
this
Yeah.
girl, but there we go. She's there with a very expensive backpack.
With wheels.
Which,
Yeah.
sorry, just on that note, so she bought you the backpack and all that. So your initial plan was, I'm going to travel around the world and just go.
Yeah, like
But
just
I
see.
picked Phuket to start.
Start because he wanted to start here because he wanted to do Muay Thai.
Right,
and
okay,
things,
yeah, okay.
And then we started, so Sutai Muay Thai was behind Villa Market, like that
Yeah,
small
yeah,
road,
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know if you know, so very small sort of Thai gym. He was training there a few times, and then after a few weeks he decided that he wanted to go back home So he was like, I'm going home. I was like, well, I
just got here with my shiny backpack.
Yeah, I can't go back. My mum would be so annoyed about this backpack she bought. And also I sold my car. There's no buses in the Cotswolds. I was like, I'm going to stay here. So I stayed, a little bit sad, but I was like, okay. And I was like, where am I going to live? I taught myself how to ride a motorbike, but I already crashed once. So I was like, I got offered a job. Actually, I got a job while I was still doing my TEFL at Sutai Thai School. So I started teaching there.
Excellent.
And then I was like, right, I need somewhere close because I'm so worried I'm going to kill myself on this. And also I don't know anyone. So if I kill myself, they'll all just be like, oh, it's like...
No one's going to know.
Yeah. So I was like... So I went and asked the owner of Sutai Muay Thai, okay, I have very little money, but I want to stay. And what should I do? And he said, why don't you stay here? And he had like a little room on the side, just had a fan and a bed in it. And I was like, okay. So anyway, I moved in there. And I thought, well, at least I've got someone to know that if I don't arrive back on my motorbike,
they'll take care of my shiny backpack for me.
Yeah. So and then I'd sit outside. So when I arrived here, I was I was overweight, and I was always quite active, but my lifestyle, I guess. And then Thai style, they're very blunt. So they'd be like, you're fat, you need to train. And I would be like, okay. So the trainers became like my friends, and I'd sit and I'd try and learn Thai to try and communicate with them every day, and also to try and help me at the Thai school. And then they sort of became my friends, and then I'd start trying to run with them. And over the first few months, I just was losing lots of weight, and I was like getting in shape. And also I didn't really have friends or money to go out anywhere. So it was quite the best diet you could ever have is don't have money and don't have friends.
I'd just like to point out I've lost 4K over the last 2 years. It works.
Yeah. So I'd go to the market, and I'd go and get some vegetables, and I didn't have anything to cook with. I had a fridge, that was it. So I'd just make some salads.
Struggle to cook in a fridge.
Had you any martial arts or any fighting stuff before? So that was your first kind of ever time doing any sort of boxing? Yeah,
and I just got really into it, and I started training twice a day because I was only teaching a few hours in the Thai school every day. And they just became like my family there, and they were really, took care of me. And then I turned up at the Thai school one day, and then the security man was like closed. And then we had like a bit of an awkward conversation because my Thai wasn't so good at the time. And then I gathered from him that it was closed for 2 months. And I was like, for the holidays, and no one had told me. So I was like, oh my God. So then I rang the agent who booked me, and I was like, okay. And he said, yeah, it's closed. So you don't, because I was only get paid per hour that I did. I was like 300 baht or something. And then I was like, okay. So I was like, I went back and I said, I can't train anymore. I don't know what I'm going to do because I don't have work now. And I used to do a bit of babysitting for some mums that would come and train. I don't know, like Vicky Colburn and people like that. Yeah. And that was, they'd always look after me. But I was like, okay. And he said, why don't you fight? And I said, oh, no, I can't. But he's like, win or lose, you get paid. And I was like, I don't think I'm ready. And he's like, you'll be fine. We'll look after you. So I was like, how much? They said 5,000. And I was like, oh, my...
Per fight?
Yeah, so I was like, perfect. My motorbike and the room together were 5,000. So I was like, okay. Because the other option was to ring my mum, but she was already confused about what was going on with my life. So I was like, I can't ring her. So I was like, right, I'll fight. So I probably sparred, I don't know, like a handful of times before I went and had my first fight. But
where was your first fight?
At Bangla Stadium.
Wow.
And I was at a level, and I'd lost quite a lot of weight, and I was quite fit. So I wasn't like I was completely in the deep end, but I think after the first round, they were trying to teach me like the basic things of how I was stepping in the wrong way, and I didn't really know what they're talking about. And then the bell would go, and I'd have to go a bit more. So the fight, I won, but it was a bit messy. I didn't really know what I was doing.
Do you think that the fact you didn't know what you're doing helped you in that fight? Because I think that if you don't know what you're doing, because the way they train is saying, right, you step here and you come here, you step here, you come there. Yeah. If you're not doing that, it's unorthodox, which means the person you're fighting is going, well, what the hell's going on here? They should be stepping there and punching, and you're not.
Yeah. What was happening a lot was we were going a bit round in a circle because I was stepping, when she'd step, I was kind of stepping round. So instead of like mirroring what she was sort of doing. So, but anyway.
Did you knock her out, or was it on a
No,
points?
I won on points. Okay. It was just, it was one of those fights that it was just, now I look back, it's a bit embarrassing, but it made me want to carry on fighting because I was like, I can't have that as my only fight. Because that was like...
I need to knock someone clean the fuck out.
So I need to keep going. So then it just became a bit addictive.
Did you have a walk-in song or anything like that? Or was it all the traditional? You had to go the traditional stuff?
Yeah, in the stadium here, because they have so many fights all the time, it was just, you get whatever they put on. It's usually the same song.
Right. So how many fights did you have?
I had 30
wow.
when I finished, yeah. So,
and what was your win-loss draw ratio?
I'd got 27 out of 30.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
How many by knockout?
27 loss and 3 wins?
Not that many by knockout, actually. I think only 1 or 2, but yeah, mostly it was
I'll
points.
take that joke back, shall I?
Yeah. What did you say?
I said 27 losses and 3 wins.
Yeah.
I was trying to be... But it doesn't matter. But 27 wins...
Make that 3 knockouts.
Yeah.
Is there any one fight? I didn't realise you had so many fights. And I just saw your picture.
You only just realised there was a fighter as I walked in here.
That's very true.
Like,
that
why
is very
did
true.
I thought that's why you wanted to talk to me.
No, I didn't realise you. This is really interesting because I didn't know this.
No, I knew you were, but I didn't know you'd done 30 of them.
And you've got, so there's a picture of you in your little shop here, of you with your belt. And so you won as well. You won the championship. So what was that?
Yeah, I fought in Bangkok. So they have a thing called
Holy
the
crap.
King's Cup.
It's a regatta. It's a sailing regatta.
Yeah.
Not that one, I guess.
Not that one, no. A different King.
She went to Mark Warner, not Sunset.
Oh, that's true,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Same, but different.
Yeah, surely I should be doing tennis.
Yeah.
Right, Mark Warner is tennis, Sunsail is sailing. Okay, let's just finish it there and move on. Anyway.
Maybe Google that, everyone.
You can Google it all you like. Get Bangkok.
Yes,
King's
so
Cup.
I got asked to fight for the King's Cup, which is on the King's birthday, the late King. And I think they still have it. Well, I don't know, now with COVID, nothing's really going on. But yes, so I got asked to fight in this one. And it was such a big fight, so I was obviously training hard. And they wanted me to rematch someone that I fought in Patong Stadium, not Bangladesh, another one, because we had a very exciting fight. So they wanted us to rematch there. So I went there, and then when I went to the press conference and the weigh-in on the morning, on there it said that it was fighting for WPMF title, World Professional Muay Thai Federation. Anyway, and so when I got there, I was like, is this real or is this just like a pretend? And they're like, no, it is. So of course I was like, oh my God, I'm even more nervous now.
Yeah.
And it was televised, and then, and I won.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
How many fights?
It was on points.
Oh.
Yeah. But it was a good fight, yeah.
But how many fights? Was it like a tournament you go through levels, or was it just a one-off?
No, it's just, we just fought, and then the person got the belt.
And you won.
And then I was supposed to fight again for another world title, a WMC, in Bangla Stadium for the Queen's birthday, but I got injured, and I had to back out.
So with the belt that you won, did you then have another fight to
defend it?
To defend it?
No, technically, I should still be able to do that, but I haven't, because I've been so injured. So
you're still a champion?
I don't know. If they've just passed it. I don't know if they've done it for another person now. I don't know.
Do you still have that belt?
It was on the internet. Like if you Googled for my weight class, and then it was at 70 kilos, and then.
So you're an undefeated champion.
So
brilliant.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But yeah, I might.
What did your mum say about all this? Oh, by the way, Mum, I can't chat. I'm just about to step into the ring. I'll call you back later.
You know what's a little bit annoying, though, in Thailand is not all the shows, but I won that, and I had to buy the belt. You don't get it. And the belt is about 15,000 baht, so that was my Christmas present from my mum. She's like, I'll buy you the belt.
And your mum was happy, as Russell just said. Your mum was happy you fighting.
And my ex-boyfriend spelt my name wrong, and he now says Amy Share on my belt, not Amy Sharp.
This is not the original boyfriend that brought you here. This was another boyfriend who we weren't allowed to talk about. Is that right? Just checking.
Yeah.
I'm super. I didn't realise that you'd done all this, because I think the first.
That's amazeballs.
Yeah, it really is amazeballs, and that's unbelievable. Because I think the first time I met you is when Riz and I, who is my ex-wife, came and you were working at PIA at the time.
Yeah.
And I think it was with the nursery, and we were looking for somewhere for Zahara to go, and I'm sure you were working there at that point. So how did the PIA bit come up? Is that after your champion career?
Yeah, it was probably a year I'd been here, probably around that time. And then they were looking for, I had some friends working at PIA, and they were looking for opening a nursery class. And my friend said, like, I know the person.
Because if the kids muck around, she'll kick their asses.
She's currently in a Thai school, and she's looking for something.
So you
more.
were still fighting while at PIA as well. So this was all happening at the same
time. Yeah.
time.
So obviously I spoke to them about it, like saying, are you okay with that? And they were all like, yeah, as long as it doesn't affect your work. Like we're all, and especially because they're.
So you don't practice on the kids.
yeah. And you know what? I think it was also like people quite liked it. It was also like something quite fun. Once they met me and realized I'm really not a scary fighter. I'm like soft as anything. Is like that they.
Well, soft as anything.
I'm soft. I don't like losing. That's the thing.
Until you get into that squared circle, and then you're a beast.
Yeah, that's why I win on points.
Why do they call it a ring?
Because I don't like losing, but I'm not very aggressive.
What did you have a nickname?
No, not really. We tried to have a few trainers call me Daurang, which is like a Thai flower, but none of them really stuck. It was always just Amy.
Amy the knife sharp. Amy the point. I'm just using your puns.
Yeah.
You said to me the other day. Amy the point.
The blade.
The blade. Oh, Amy the blade sharp.
My email address is razor_sharp.
There you go. See,
razor. Amy razor sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
that can work.
Yeah. What was your
slicing through the opponents?
Good one.
That's the title of the podcast.
What was your favourite? That or backpack? I was thinking.
Shiny backpack.
Shiny really
Amy,
backpack.
shiny backpack sharp.
Shiny backpack sharp with wheels in little commas at the end. What was your move of choice? Are you more of a kicker, an elbower, a kneer, puncher,
knee.
headbutt?
I'm like a big clincher.
Are you?
So yeah, that was always
you like a cuddle.
Yeah,
and
basically.
And a slam
and that's what my friend Gina Carano, you're a big fan of right now. She was laughing.
Oh yeah.
Big fan. He's got the hots for my friend.
Yeah, to be fair.
Where were you?
Whoa. And if she's listening, which she damn well should be, obviously. I'm just putting it out there that, if she plays her cards right.
Hi, Em. How's Scotland?
Cold.
Very, very, very. Yeah, cold. Where was I going with this? So how did, from PIA teaching, so being a teacher at the school, which I know that you're back doing a bit of work now at UWC, but how did this whole gym bit come around, and when?
I'm like, oh God, here we go.
Yeah.
You don't have to mention...
Paraphrase it.
Yeah.
I thought it would be a good idea. And here we are.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Yeah.
So we started with, I don't know, George, because you used to train there. So I knew George, he was working at Tanya Pro before, and he had like a fitness gym called Ignite in Banwana, yeah. So then, and he was asking for to make some Muay Thai there. So we made some Muay Thai there, but it was just not the right location.
Is that a euphemism or not?
So I joined his little gym, and then we made some Muay Thai, and then trying not to talk about certain people.
We're making sweet Muay Thai.
No,
but it just wasn't the right location.
Yeah, it was not place, wasn't it?
Most people, it's kind of just for Muay Thai. Most people come here on training camps.
Yeah.
That's where most of our customers are. They're here. They need accommodation nearby, or ideally on site. And it just wasn't working
and it also needs to be accessible to other things.
So,
like here you've got the beach, you've got Surin around and all of that.
And you need to have, just food and access. It just wasn't the right location to make it
But at this time, were you looking to open this gym? Was it your dream?
I don't have a plan ever. It just happens. Everything just happens. And then later I'm like, sometimes I'm like, oh, that's good. And sometimes I'm like, oh, no.
Oops.
Why I've never doing, I've sometimes like, wow, I have quite a big gym.
So you was
with quite a lot of work.
With this George dude at this gym, doing a bit of Muay Thai there.
Yeah.
And then both of you said, let's find a different place. Or was it this?
No, I decided he was sort of going to maybe finish anyway. And then I started looking for some places. But I have a good friend of mine, both him and his wife were good friends of mine, and he was also my trainer for a little while in an old gym. They're from Costa Rica, a couple called Marcela and Mauricio Calvo, and I said to them, look, I either need to just close down this gym, or I need to build it and make it in the right location and make it something a bit bigger. And but I can't do it like on my own. Do you want to come over and to do it with me? And he was like, yes, let's do it. So he came over. We started at Ignite, and then we started looking around, and then we found this land, and we just built it actually very small. Even though the land was quite big, it was all kind of overgrown when we took this land, so we stripped it back. We're like, oh, it's actually quite big.
When was this? Because I remember watching this come up, because I used to live around this area, and I remember driving past here and seeing it slowly but surely start to evolve. So what year were you?
That was about 5 years ago.
Okay, yeah.
And then we just made the gym. Actually, all the Muay Thai area was about half the size, but then just one high season, it just was so busy. We just didn't have enough space to fit everyone in, so we extended.
So did you have the rooms there as well?
So we had a few rooms, but then we had to build more. And then my sister and brother-in-law came across, and they built like a restaurant and also some more rooms, and they kind of joined in. But my mum got ill, so things just, we took it in turns to go and look after my mum in England, so that just didn't really get off the ground because of, circumstances. But
so what do you have here now then in terms of sort of full, obviously the
well, we're sat in your jiu-jitsu room now, so let's talk about because my kids actually come here and they do jiu-jitsu, and I've had one session here where I did mention to you, Russell, I was a ninja.
Yes.
I was the only ninja.
Sorry, were you injured?
No, I think I probably upset.
Did you get an injury?
Oh, good one. I upset probably the jiu-jitsu purist because I put the belt around my head and pretended I was a ninja, which I'd imagine in a normal jiu-jitsu camp I would get my head kicked in. Luckily here, the head of jiu-jitsu was all right with it.
Yeah. And it was a kids' class, so...
It was a kids' class.
Yeah.
So I think that maybe...
But when
he didn't mention that.
Yeah.
One class was a kids' class.
No one could take me down. That was awesome. That was brilliant.
Fucking hard I am.
Tough as
I was close at one point, but...
I had to pin Ashton down. He couldn't get up. I was like, wicked, man. I felt so powerful. After my one Muay Thai fight where I got my ass kicked, I was so happy that I could do jiu-jitsu. I thought it was good. Although I was looking for the top rope because I wanted to do the elbow drop off the top rope, but there was no top rope. So I was worried about. So when did you jiu-jitsu? Sorry, I was...
So jiu-jitsu got added in.
Why did it get added
Another
in,
love
Amy?
of my life.
But on a serious... not on a serious note at all. So Nando,
Yes.
not the chicken place,
Right,
but Nando, Brazilian Nando, he is a jiu-jitsu coach. And so how did you two, you don't have to give us the whole story, but how did that relationship happen?
So we met in England. I was...
What? You was in Thailand?
Yes, and I went back to England. And I do go there sometimes.
Remember those heady days
I
when we
go
were able
there
to
just
travel?
because I miss wearing socks and a jumper.
Fair enough.
I do miss carpet though.
No,
I miss
mate,
carpet.
I'm here now on your
I
Astro.
was just doing exactly the same thing with my toes.
This is lush. This is.
Earlier when I went to knock on Amy's house to get her out, her partner was in the lavatory, and I just with it carpet and the lavatory I miss because you used to sit there doing your business. It's quite nice on my feet. Anyway, so you met Nando's in
England.
What was he doing
Not
there?
in Nando's.
that would have been cool.
I'm not a huge Nando's fan.
No, I'm not a huge Nando's fan.
It's okay. Mediocre. Anyway.
Him or the restaurant?
He's amazing.
Ask me on different days. So you get different answers. But so I went back to England. My mum first was ill, and I went back to England, and my mum was a little bit upset, and she was saying, she was given a few weeks to live, and she was saying, I just worry about you. If my time is up, my sister's married, she has a family, she'll be okay, but for you still need me. I live in Thailand, but I do need my mum. I still probably do. Yeah. But anyway, so anyway, as a bit of a joke, I was like, come on, Mum, let's download Tinder, a wonderful app, promote it to everyone, single.
Years ago, maybe, not so much now.
No. But anyway, I said to her, here you go, you can find me a prince. And then we had a lot of hospital appointments, sitting in hospitals, so we would just joke around looking and swiping left and right. And my profile didn't even say that I live in Thailand, because I was just like, I just put a few normal sort of, some nicer pictures.
The
some
expression is
normal.
catfish. We're
No,
looking for
you
here.
know what? I didn't do that though.
Alright.
I actually just put some normally ones on, maybe a few filters. But
Oh, filters, not filth. I thought you said put a few filthy ones on. Brilliant. Filters, okay.
Yeah, no.
I'm with you.
that's how Tinder could be. But
Yeah.
no, I didn't choose that route. And
It's my mum doing it for me.
yeah. So anyway, I don't think my mum actually chose Nando though. I think that was probably one that I was like, oh, he looks fun because his profile. He did look taller on Tinder though. I'm gonna say that.
He's quite short, isn't he? I won't say it to his face.
No.
Of course not.
Because he's like,
Yeah, he might be short, but he could kick my ass. So and that was it. You kind of looked and went, hey, he's a hunk. Because he is, I have to say, joking aside, he is, and he'll probably hate me for saying this, he is quite hunky.
Hunky.
He has got, no, but he has got a
It
quite...
rhymes with chunky, so be careful.
Wouldn't call him that. But I think he's got nice eyes, and he has got a nice smile.
Jay,
Yeah.
No, he
Steady on-
has.
steady
I'm
on.
44 years old. I can look at a
And
man and
single.
say if they're... And single.
That's the bit I'm
I
concerned
wouldn't
about.
sex him, but I just think he's a hunk.
So do you know I went to the first time I was actually pregnant, but I got invited to one of his jiu-jitsu team 50th birthday party, and on the going into the venue it had like a signing in book and it said hunky Brazilian +1. I guess that's me, the +1. I was like, I'm like 6 months or I don't know how much pregnant. I was like,
He's hunky. I think he's
and
a
the
hunk.
fact that it's hunky Brazilian, but there was a lot of elderly ladies that called him Peter Andre
Oh,
and
God.
was showing him how flexible they were.
Okay, you can see from the slick hair, that's where they get that. I think that's where it stops. He
Yeah.
definitely hasn't got the six-pack.
Yeah,
that
and
Peter
he
Andre
doesn't
has.
have the voice, the singing.
I don't think
know
Peter, I was going to say, Peter Andre doesn't have
yeah.
a voice, to be fair.
Yeah.
So you kind of, you whichever swiping is liking him,
Yeah.
and then you got...
So yeah, and actually
Happy
he was
days.
a little bit tipsy on his work party. We chatted a little bit, but not that much really. And then he was like, "Oh, I'm out on my works do in Swindon. Do you want to come out? Come out for a drink?" And he rang, and I was like, "Oh, I don't know. You sound a little bit well away. Like this is a bit
could
awkward."
possibly go wrong?
And my mum was like, "Oh, for God's sake, can you just go out? Like leave
He's
me
a
alone.
hunky Brazilian, for Christ's
Give
sake.
me a
Just
break."
go.
Yeah. So I said to Mum, okay, but if I don't like him, then you need to I'll message you and you have
Yeah.
to call me, say, I'm not well, you need to come home.
Brilliant.
And then I went and I was like, oh, this is quite fun. But I was like, I have to park my car and not, because I can't, you know.
Is that another euphemism?
No,
Just checking.
no, as in, I need to probably drink too, because he was a little bit tipsy. So that was our
So on the way
first
there,
date.
you
He
were
was
down in
already
vodka.
drunk.
You just
He was already drunk, and then I had to go and meet up with him. So, but yeah, no, it was nice. But he was going to Brazil for Christmas, so he was going within a few days. So we met up for dinner one night, and then I was like, okay, have fun in Brazil. Nice to meet you. But then keep in touch. He rang me every day when he was in Brazil, and then he came back with some really nice presents. So I was like, okay. And then I was going to Thailand the day after he got back. So he came over to my mum's house for dinner. My mum wasn't feeling well, so she didn't meet him, but I came over, and then I went to Thailand the next day, and then we just kept in touch, and then he booked time off to come here, and then, yeah.
He stayed.
We just spent probably a year just backwards
Back
and
and
forwards, because I was going home to England all the time anyway, and then he was coming here when he could. And then
And what was he doing prior to
Yeah.
coming here?
he was a
Just then getting drunk and
lab
works doing that.
technician. And
Yeah.
a lab technician.
I had a sneaky feeling there was going to be something different to
So
the jiu-jitsu.
my mum would tell people he was a doctor because he'd have
And a coat.
pens and a white coat.
A calculator. Poindexter. Excellent.
See, if he
Yeah.
was Colombian, lab technician would sound very,
Very
dodgy.
different, yeah.
But I think for Brazilian, you can get away with it a little bit more. So then he came over. Did you? But obviously, you knew he was jiu-jitsu-ing.
Yeah,
At
so
that point.
well, some of his pictures were jiu-jitsu, but I was never I don't know much about jiu-jitsu, so I was like, oh, okay, he's into
It's
martial
like
arts. so that's
cuddling,
good.
but a bit stronger.
Yeah, a bit like clinching, really. Maybe
It's
that's
cuddling
what we
with
got there in common.
chokehold.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so we just.
Fell in
But then
love.
I had to say to him, after the first date, I was like, I don't actually live in England. I live in Thailand. He's like, oh wow, great, let's go to Thailand. So yeah.
And so that's when he came here and then he finally decided to stay.
Mm-hmm.
That was when you just said, right, okay, well, why don't you come into the gym and you can do the jiu-jitsu stuff? Is that kind of how it worked?
Well, yeah. So the idea was if he's going to come here, he needs to have something to do. And I was like, well, it's perfect because I actually have a gym, and this was the restaurant, so we just made it, a little bit bigger and closed it off and made it jiu-jitsu.
But and at what point
and
did
he
you
also
find
helps me manage the gym because our old manager went to work in Mexico for a while. So he actually helps me with that as well. So
in terms of the jiu-jitsu stuff, though, how did that? At what point in your relationship did you find out that A, he did it, and B, was good at it? I mean, was it a case of it's just a hobby that he just did on the side versus someone that's won titles?
Yeah, yeah. No, well, he was doing, and he was competing in England.
Right. Okay.
Those are a lot of his medals in England, and then. And he was kind of covering the classes, and then he was doing all of that. It's just when we were like, okay, if we're going to do it more seriously, for Gracie Barra, if you want to become a franchise, you have to do the courses to become a qualified Gracie Barra instructor.
Right, okay.
You have to be first aid trained, you have to have child protection, all of that. So when the year before he was planning to move here, he was doing all of that stuff, and he also became a British citizen in that time as well. He did that as well. So he passed all those tests as well. So in that year, he did quite a lot of things, and he had a baby.
Yeah.
He actually...
Well, technically, he didn't, but I get your point.
Yeah. Did you know that actually, if you use these fitness balls, it's really good for giving birth?
That's why I'm bouncing on this one now.
hips.
It's apparently good for your hip. Yeah. It's a good stretch.
Anyway, this is not about Nando. This is about you.
Yeah, I know. He's like, they're going to interview me, sure. So you have to ask him, otherwise.
Well, no, we'll get him on another time. But we wanted to do you first, so to speak. So what else do you do? So you've obviously got the jiu-jitsu at the gym. You've got the Muay Thai. But is there anything else that we do here? Because I know that a lot of the parents come here and from the schools.
I mean, we did do kids camps, which was a great thing after the lockdown, because I think after the kids had been off school for so long,
Going
just
crazy.
Yeah, and that was really successful. That was really good. And we've got the shop selling equipment, and we usually have a cafe, but obviously right now we need customers.
Yeah. Why did you tell us?
Yeah.
I saw a couple of your belts in the shop because I came here earlier and I wanted one, and I was told I can't have
sell
it.
I can sell it to you 15,000.
Well, I can get my own WWF.
Oh, you mean like a proper belt?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Well,
Okay. I thought you meant like
there's a story. There's a reason why I need one, and I'll tell you later.
Okay.
But you've had some champions come through here.
Yes.
So what? I mean, so what does the whole Muay Thai thing? Because do you have to have certain champions? Are they still here? Are they still fighting? How is that all affected?
So
it's a terrible question.
No, before our main, part of Sutai was the fighters. We'd have sponsored fighters, and we'd have just fighters that came here and they would just live here.
So
and
the sponsored fighters, that's you, as in paying them to be here.
So they get offered. So it depends on their level and how much, what their sort of package would be. But yeah, usually they would get some accommodation, or they would have free training, and they get like equipment and things like that.
And do you then?
It just depends. And then with that, we have to work out obviously on fight.
Well, that's the thing. So you have a different contract for them. So whatever fight, you take part of their earnings.
Yeah, and some fighters would prefer to have more percent of their purse, and then have their own get their own accommodation.
How much money? Because you were saying you.
But actually, compared to most gyms, I think we actually take very little money from the fighters. So Mauricio and I, we were fighters before, and I mean, I always had a job, so I didn't want to be a sponsored fighter, because if you're a sponsored fighter, you really have to fight when they need you, and I needed to put my job priority. So I needed to fight when I was able to. But for sponsored fighters, then they need to be training, twice a day, and they need to be representing the gym and things like that. But because we were fighters, we know how little money you can make from Muay Thai, so actually we wouldn't want to cut that much money.
So if you said you were getting $5,000 back in the day, how much as a fighter, COVID aside, how much would a foreign fighter get if they go and fight now down at Bangla Stadium? Or
you're thinking of a career change?
Similar to that, 5,000.
It's still about that.
Yeah.
And is that win or lose?
Yeah. Win or lose, yeah. Sometimes they might tip you if you did really well, and they might give you an extra 1,000 baht or something. And sometimes people betting money get excited. If you won someone lots of money, they might come and give you something.
If it's win or lose, and it's the same purse.
It kind of takes the edge off.
Yeah.
Couldn't you just go in there and just kind of cover up the whole time and just take the pounding?
Yeah, you could, but actually the promoters wouldn't want to keep booking you if you
Right,
were doing
yeah,
that, because they'd just be like, well,
What was the
that's
point of
not
that?
good for people to come and watch, you know, they don't want to, and that's why they are very appreciative, and they'll try and get you better fights.
Because
if
they want
see that
more
you're doing-
people.
yeah,
They want
yeah.
the show. They want
Yeah.
you to
Yeah.
really go for it, so then they
Yeah.
get more people come and watch.
Yeah.
So it's similar to every entertainment, really. That
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you put on events here?
We don't have an entertainment license
Right.
here, so that wouldn't, and also we could, but the view wouldn't be the best from the layout that we have here right now, but yeah. It's the entertainment license that's a bit...
Even so if you wanted to have a small competition.
With that, you've got to actually, I mean, it's okay if it's just sparring
Yeah.
and it's not, but if you, as soon as you take padding off, you should have a doctor on site. Like, there's all these like,
Right, okay,
different
yeah, yeah.
things, so it's not ideal. Through this COVID, I was thinking about doing some just where the gyms could come together and maybe do some sparring.
So my next
Something-
question is going to be like
yeah.
a Phuket gyms sort of competition sort of
Yeah,
thing. But I guess it's all...
I think in Geelong they started doing something like that with some sort of, you know, some of it with protection and things like that. But you just, I don't know. And also now with COVID coming back around again, you just you can't have large groups. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
So in
It's one of
terms
those
of...
things. The only thing is just people that are getting to that level where they want to fight, and the best way to really learn is through fights. You know, obviously once you learn the basics, and
Yeah.
you're getting to you don't want to get hurt, but that's the problem now. The only fights there is in Bangkok,
Right.
and then it's televised, and you need to be in a good level.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
those
to do it.
beginners are getting lost, you know, because
Yeah.
they're not getting that. So it would be nice to even just have friendly sparring, but you know, it maybe has some sort of scoring system or something where
So
you could get the experience.
in terms of what we have here, I mean, just putting COVID aside for the moment,
Mhm.
because obviously, let's be positive, it's on the downslide over the next few months, and middle of the year, end of the year, we get sort of back to quote normal. So let's take that positive view.
Yeah.
What's the future for Sutai? What's the progression, or just carry on as we are and building from here?
Yeah, I think, I mean, obviously it's just building it back up again. We'd like to get all of our fighters back again, you know, even if it's a new team.
Yeah.
But it's too hard for them to live here if they didn't have outside sponsors. Right now we have Erin Cole from Scotland. She has sponsors that are helping her continue to stay here. And she was fighting in Bangkok, so we hope that that'll continue. Once
She's a
it's
cool
over here.
chick, actually.
Yeah,
I've met her a couple of times. She's
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah, she's still quite young, so she's definitely got potential to do.
And
great
she
things.
would kick both of our ass. Probably not
Yeah.
Amy because she's a world champion, but she would kick our ass.
Yeah, and then just continue to build it up, and then maybe bring in some other programs. I have got some talk, you know, that maybe some people would be coming back, and things that I can't disclose.
Okay. So watch this space.
But honestly,
Yeah.
just joking aside, it is a cool place for people to come and train, especially with the
Yeah.
kids, because my kids do the jiu-jitsu. They do it on the Tuesday, on the Thursday, and on the Saturday. And you also then have other classes for parents to go to while the kids have got classes. So it's, if you're a parent or a single parent or even not a single parent, you can come and your kids can train. And it's not training, they actually have some really good fun. And Nando, not bigging Nando up, because I should do, because he's lovely. But he's really good with the kids.
Yeah, he
really,
is
really
really
good with the
good,
kids.
yeah,
And it's
yeah.
not about, this is how you fight, go out there and beat the crap out of people. It's, this is how you fight. First thing you say is tell your teacher that someone, you know, and I love that about him.
Yeah.
That was when I sat down and saw him for the first
That's the
time.
great thing about Gracie Barra is they have a curriculum and a children's curriculum. So a lot of it is just going through situations that happen. In the playground, someone comes and does this. What do you do?
Punch him
Okay.
in the face.
And that's exactly what he tells them not to do, Russell.
So this is more Miyagi-Do than
you
Cobra
need to
Kai.
obviously come
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
be
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nando's Mr. Miyagi,
Right,
not
okay,
the
yeah,
other
yeah.
dude. Whoever the other dude
John
was.
Kreese.
Yeah, not him.
So yeah, and that is really great for the kids that they have that sort of.
But it's great that you put this on at the gym, because I think as a, you know, my kids, it took Ashton a bit of time to get into it, but now he
Yeah,
loves
yeah,
it. And
yeah.
they come down, they play, and they run around, they do British Bulldog, which is
Yeah,
banned.
yeah.
But, you know, they do tug of
Yeah.
war and stuff like that, which I think is really cool.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they get to learn some skills and
Yeah.
to learn when and when not to use them. And that's
Yeah.
important.
And on a Saturday, one of our top trainers here, she's a female trainer, Krunun. she comes in and she does half the class on a Saturday Muay Thai. And she's amazing with the kids,
Cool.
like, because she's high energy, she's fun, and so that's also a really nice add to the kids' class as
Cool.
well.
So on a little bit of a segue, what sort of things have you got on your bucket list?
So, do you know what's so funny? I actually was trying to think of a bucket list, and I don't know.
Well, for someone who doesn't plan anything,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
that's
quite
the
difficult,
thing.
isn't
it?
It's
Yeah.
hard. I mean, there's like countries that I'd still really like to go and visit. And yeah, hopefully we can travel soon.
Which ones?
Yeah.
Have you been to Brazil? Have you been to Nando's?
No, so I need to go to
home?
Brazil. Yeah, Brazil. And then I'd really like to go to the Maldives just because it looks really
It does look amazing,
nice.
doesn't it?
Yeah, really nice.
And you dive as well, don't you?
No,
Oh, do you
I
not?
snorkel.
Okay.
But yeah, no doubt.
See, that's the other thing. I mean, touch
Oh,
on the
yeah.
fact you got Sutai tours as well.
Yeah, we got Sutai experiences.
Oh,
A
experiences.
trip with me.
Hello.
Once again,
And we're just going to leave that there
Yeah.
I've been on one of your boat trips, and it
because
was,
I thought you were going to say you've been at one of our experiences.
I have had one of your, I've had one
You've
of
had
Amy's
a Sharpie
experiences,
experience.
and it was fantastic. It was, and I know you've got one that just happened on Saturday.
No, this Saturday. Tomorrow.
Well, I know it's tomorrow, but
Yeah.
we're recording this on a Friday, but this comes out on a Tuesday.
yeah.
See, I was being clever, and you've ruined it. How was your trip Saturday? Was it
It's
fun?
amazing.
Yeah.
I saw so many dolphins.
We actually
Swam with them.
I know you
we
saw
saw
them.
dolphins. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Zahara and Ashton and I
know,
went
I
out
really hope that
last
we see
weekend.
them, so,
It was I hate dolphins, but it was the kids really appreciated it. I thought they're a bunch of twats. Not the kids.
Not the kids.
Although sometimes. Anyway.
Oh,
Right,
I
well,
don't know how you can hate a dolphin.
because they're arseholes. They're over. Oh, God.
This is Jay we're talking about.
Dolphins are overrated. Everyone thinks dolphins are great because a few disabled kids get on their back and they go around the pools and everyone's like, well done, dolphins look after disabled kids. Dolphins are dicks. They are complete. They're in the sea going, these humans are, oh yeah, they're giving this all, they're dicks. Anyway, move
Anyway,
on.
back to you, Amy. Any sort of
Yeah,
other
yeah.
things on your bucket list?
Swim with dolphins.
Swim with dolphins,
Those
maybe?
dolphins. I don't know, just see what, hopefully to travel, because my last few years I've just been a bit restricted to travel.
There's a lot of that going around.
Yeah, not just that, but I had to go to England a lot. So,
Yeah, fair enough.
so it'd be nice to go somewhere else. No offense to England.
Yeah,
Love the
but
place.
nice to
but it'd be
change.
nice to see some more places.
Excellent.
And then, I don't know, just see what happens.
Well,
I'm not very extreme. I'm actually a Muay Thai fighter that's very scared of most things. So standing on a chair is probably enough height for me. So, most people
So bungee
say...
jump's definitely up
Yeah,
there
so
then.
no, when people are like, I want to bungee jump, I want to, go like...
You just want to stand on the chair.
Skydive, I want to, I'll just be like,
And drop an elbow.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
Right.
so
On that
that's
note, Amy Sharp, world champion. Amy
Yeah.
Shup.
Can this be
Sure.
part one?
The
I feel
razor-
like we've still got so much to talk about.
Honestly, I would. There is-
Raise a backpack.
we can maybe do part 2 another time. Amy, thank you very much for your time. Make
Yeah.
sure you go. We'll put all the description, all the links in the description below. Go and check those out. But
Yeah.
And your
thank you
class
very
times
much.
and all of that as well.
Yeah.
You've been amazing.
Yeah, it's been
Thank
super
you.
fun. Thank
Thanks,
you very
Amy.
much.
It's been fun.
Thanks, Russ.
Bye.
Welcome to the outro. Russell's typing. He's sending messages, and it says, "Oi, that was the best podcast we've ever done."
It was up there.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
for coming in.
I'm back.
Hi,
I'm here
Russ.
all week.
How are you?
I'm good.
Amy Sharp,
Amy-
world
Amy-
champion.
World champion. Razor blade.
World champion. Amy Razorblade Sharp. Stroke backpack with wheels. I still don't get the backpack with wheels thing.
That was quite cool.
No, is it cool to have a backpack with wheels?
Well, if you're actually doing the backpack and you're kind of getting tired, at least you could sort of lie down and sort of roll yourself in the direction
But
you want to
surely
go.
adding the wheels, which means then you have to have some sort of frame in it, which then adds weight to this backpack for wheels.
Yeah. But then
Backpacks, you just lay them on the floor and you just drag. We used to just drag them along.
That's what the wheels are for. Well, I'm assuming here. Don't quote me.
I'm not sure there's many places up Everest where you'd need wheels on your backpack.
Good point. Well made.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Fab podcast, though. Fab story.
I still, world champion, Muay Thai. I never knew that she was a Muay Thai fighter.
I still haven't got past the... Mark Warner was squash, was it?
Tennis.
Tennis. That was it.
Listen,
Yeah.
that is the truth. And I'm not sure
The
what
truth. The truth for nothing but the truth.
the truth is that Mark Warner was more tennis related than they added.
Tennis.
They were more tennis. They added sailing afterwards, but they didn't have as many fleet of boats as Sunsail. Sunsail.
But it makes sense. I'm not being funny, mate. And if I'm looking, I want to do what do you call family activity holiday. I really want to do sailing. I've got Sunsail or I've got Mark Warner. I mean, I'm not even going to look at Mark Warner because it's just some bloke. I'm going to, Sunsail. It does fucking sailing, and I'm guessing in the sun.
But Mark Warner also had winter places as well, so they also
Again,
did winter holidays.
Mark Warner. But it doesn't say anything about what they do. It's just shit. Absolute shite.
Oh, what? And K9 Point? Oh, yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Kind of says what it
Yeah,
does on the tin.
Yeah, it does.
Great pod with Amy.
Shark Productions. Oh, no, it doesn't. I don't produce any sharks at all. I've never had a shark in my life. I like Amy.
Your shark and no bite.
I like Amy a lot. I
Ditto.
like her current boyfriend,
Yeah.
Nando, as well. No, and then joking aside, he is free. I was very scared when I first met him, but just because I'm just nervous of meeting after my experience Muay Thai fighting. I'm very nervous of meeting any trainers because they're quite intense guys. But he's
Not all of them.
well, yeah, some of them live in houses.
Hey.
But he's very, very cool. No, Sutai,
Sutai.
thank you, however you say it, is a very cool gym.
It's nice.
It's
here,
very
yeah.
nice. We're sat in the jiu-jitsu room right now, which they've left. So we could have a rumble if we want. We could have I think it's
rumble
called a
in the
roll.
jungle.
I think Chris McDonald, who's got big arms, by the way, I don't know if he's ever told you that.
Small shirts.
Yeah, really small shirts. Small something else. But he says, he comes in as a roll with Nando.
Yeah, he's meaning like a chomp burger roll. I'm
I
guessing.
think so, or a
Fat
bacon
bastard.
roll. Or if you're a vegan, then a lettuce roll. I don't think you can't have bread, can you? Vegan? Can
Do you think they would let us roll in here?
Hey! No, like Amy, come to
Sutai.
Thank you, Jim. They do Muay Thai, they do Jiu-Jitsu, they do kids camps, they do adult camps, they do fitness training. They've got
lots
here.
of new things coming up soon.
Yeah, which you couldn't
stay
talk
tuned.
about.
No, so it's all exciting developments happening here.
I'm not
But
sure.
we'll put the website up. We'll put links to contact details and Facebook pages.
Yes, we will. Make sure you
And come
like
on.
us on all the social media platforms. But the big one, if you give us a little 5-star review or a 5-star rating and a review. Don't give a shit about the review, to be fair. We won't read them. But a little 5-star rating. I shouldn't say that, should I? I should beg. Please give us a 5-star rating.
And a
then
nice comment.
hopefully we can start making money out of this after a year and a half of podcasting.
So if you're into dolphins and you want to sponsor the show.
yeah, there's any dolphin companies out there that want to sponsor us, then you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, you fucking dolphin. My dad told me off about that. He said that I shouldn't be so rude about dolphins on social media because I called them bastards. However, I then asked him, well, he shoots squirrels that go into his garden, so what's the difference?
Well, you haven't shot a dolphin, to be fair.
Well, not yet, Russell. Not yet. I've started posting on Instagram.
Ooh.
And then I got blocked from Instagram because they thought I was spamming. So I'll have to... our Instagram is up and running. Just search Phuket Podcast, but you can also go to our website, which is...
PhuketPodcast.com.
And on there, you can actually find Barkcast, which is on that website as well. So
That sounds interesting. What's that about, Jay?
Barkcast is if you've got a dog and you're interested in learning more about how to look after your dog, train your dog, or maybe just feed your dog, you can go to Barkcast.
You could also go to caninepointacademy.com/Barkcast and listen to it there.
Yeah, or to Phuket Podcast. We're going to fight it now because we're going to send it to
We're in the right place.
Absolutely. But if you do, if you are going away or for the weekend, or you want to go one of these great hotel deals that they're doing right now, and you want to leave your dog, then you can leave it at Russell's Academy, where he does long-term and short-term looking after. What's the word? Accommodation.
That'll do.
That'll do. Kennels. Do you call them kennels?
No.
Kennels has got a bad rep, hasn't it?
It just sounds cagey.
Ah!
Hey!
Thanks, Russ.
We're on fire today. Cheers, buddy.
Bye.
Bye.